Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Hopefully you guys are having a great week. Lots to talk about, so let's dive right into it. Markets have been all over the place today. You can see, we're going to look at some charts, but you can see that U.S. markets are about to close here in just a couple of moments, and they all had a pretty good day. S&P up 14 points, Dow about 120. Oil has gained a good little bit. We were down right around the $90, $91 range, and we're right back up again. So things are kind of in rally mode. We're going to see how that plays out into tomorrow with non-farm payroll coming up, so that'll be something to keep an eye on. Speaking of news announcements, PPI for Australia in a couple of hours later on this evening, so that could be a little bit of a mover. We'll keep our eye on that. Lots of news today. European Central Bank came out with all their stuff, and it has been pretty wild in the euro, and we're going to show that euro chart shortly. Remember, we have announcement coming up for the pound. We've got some pound trades in the works, so just know about this announcement right here, services PMI. And then we have non-farm payroll for the U.S., and then we have the ISM later on in the morning as well. So we're going to have a pretty busy morning with news tomorrow. So we're going to have a live session. Everybody will be welcome for that. Go to my website, daytradersfx.com. I'll send out an email and a Twitter update on this later on today. But everyone will be welcome to join us in that live session. No free trial needed, nothing. You can just click on the link and get right in. Okay, euro dollar. So this is what we saw with the news today. Everything rallied up, and then we had that big drop, and then it's kind of found some support down here. And we're going to talk about what this level is and why it's going to be significant and so on. But that's the euro. We're right at the point where we're looking to see when this big kind of pre-summer push is going to start. I always think it's not going to start. It's not going to happen, and then it does. And so, and it may still not be that it's a big run down. It might be time to buy on this dip and take this up. So here's a couple of things that we need to be looking for this euro dollar. First of all, I think the euro dollar is going to retrace at least back up to about 130, but probably up into this resistance area, about 131.15. Up into that weekly pivot and so on. I think that's kind of a safe bet for the euro dollar at this point because of the kind of support that it found down here on this trend line. Now, whether it's going to be able to hold that movement or not, we're going to see, because you can see that this channel right here, the euro dollar has been bumping around. We made it almost all the way up to the channel. We had this big bearish bar right here, bearish engulfing on this 4-hour chart. We came down and we just touched that weekly pivot, 200 moving average, and this upper trend channel right here. So there's definitely some stuff going on. Remember, the euro dollar turned down after making a run at the 50% fib, big shooting star right there, and then we had this big bearish candle. We came down and we tested the bottom of this trend line. And so we're not out of the channel by any means, and it's not a huge channel. It's fairly short term. It's basically over the last month and maybe 6 weeks or so. So pretty good looking channel. So here's the way that I want to trade this channel and play this whole area. Again, this is the bottom of the channel. This is trendline support. This is regular support. We basically touched the weekly low right there. We within about 3 or 4 pips of the weekly low, that little low right there. But then we get this nice little hammer, and again at the weekly pivot, trendline, all this support, a lot of support right here. So I'm going to be looking for an opportunity to trade against that low. We're only about 27 pips off it. We get a little bit of retracement. We may be able to get a buy opportunity to pick up some euro dollar and trade it up into about the 131 15 131 10 15 area. Just kind of want to trade it up into this consolidation area, and then that's it. And it may make a bigger run. It may be headed much higher. I don't know, but I'm just looking for that short-term movement right now. Ultimately, I think that the euro dollar has very, very good potential of breaking this 130.50, and at that point, our next stop is 129.50. At that point, our next stop is 127.50. So we have some big targets we've got to get through on the way down, but overall, this is these are kind of the levels that I'm looking for and watching over the next several days and couple of weeks. But for the immediate, like I said, let's buy against this low. Let's buy against this support right here. I think we're gonna have a nice opportunity for a bounce. You can see if you go to some of these smaller time frames, like the 15-minute chart and so on, there's some little trend lines in here and a couple little things in the works, and we've kind of already broken some of those. And I think we're going to be able to get some sort of a movement out of that. It may not be huge, but I think we'll get something. And so that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm interested in. And with a profit target of about 31.15, and then from there I'd ultimately like to short it through those levels that I talked about. But we'll see how that plays out. Pound dollar is an interesting one. The pound dollar has come up to major resistance, 50% fib, 200 moving average, top of a channel here, and it's having a little bit of trouble getting down. We had this nice bearish candle right here, and we made a nice break of, we got out of this wedge, we got out of support, we did a lot of stuff right there. That was all very good. But it is kind of having a heck of a time. We have this nice little pin bar right here. We reversed and headed back up. And we're looking to maybe get back into this little channel zone right here. Above 156.05, I would be getting long on the pound dollar. But as long as we stay below that, I'm bearish and I'm short, and I think that we may, just kind of test some of this upper area before continuing back down. So that's what I'm looking for right now. So the opportunity in my mind is still short against 156.05, and this may, press up into 155, 70, 80, 90 area. Look for entries against 156.05, short against 156.05. And we're looking for the bigger runs down in this pound dollar, like moves into 154, about 15, and 153.95, and ultimately into 152.00. I think we have a good chance with that at the pound dollar. Okay, Aussie dollar has made some interesting moves. We have a missed daily pivot here. This is going to be a bit of a target, and the Aussie is going to want to try to make it back up there. So a couple of things that I'll look for is a little break of that daily high right there, which is around 102.60 or so. We get above that, I think we'll have a good opportunity to make a run into that missed daily pivot. You can see there's a 200 moving average overlapping that as well. We found pretty good support at this double bottom, and these are all pretty bullish candles. That are taking us down there. So I think, at least for the short term, I think this is a good level to trade against. You can see that we're off that by about 25 pips. That's around 102.20. So I want to get long the Aussie dollar against 102.20. Now below 102.20, we break this level and we're short to 101, 100, and to parity and so on and so forth. But if we can get a little bit lower and a little bit closer to 102.20, then I'm long towards the missed daily pivot up here around 103.100, give or take. So that's what I'll be aiming for. And likewise, if we don't get much of a run down here, then I'll probably just wait for a break above this daily high to buy into the Aussie dollar. Last but not least, the euro yen is kind of an interesting one. This is a great candle right here that tells us that 129.90 is as strong as we thought it was, which is really strong, and that we need to be looking for opportunities to get short Aussie yen and trade the break of this trend line. So that's what I'm looking for. I'll have more details on that entry, but it looks like our 129.90, 120, almost 130 is basically the area to keep an eye on. We tested that perfectly and we're all the way back down again. So I want to get below some of these daily levels. 127.50 would be a nice one to break. You can see that our low here is exactly 127.50. We're a couple of pips off that, but I think if we start getting below that, we're going to have some nice little runs and moves there. And then we of course have the Aussie yen, which I've been keeping an eye on. It got pretty choppy with the news. We had a break and a run into that missed pivot, and now it's back down again. So once again, getting below 100.30 is attractive, and I think we have a good opportunity to short below 100.30 with stops above about 101.10. So big stops, but I think we have some big profit potential on the downside. I think we probably got 700 or 800 or 900 pips of a run down there. So we'll be looking for that. Details coming in the chat. Remember, join us for the non-farm payroll live session Friday morning, and we'll see you guys there. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.